how did you convince people? What was your pitch or conversation?
I like to teach that the person, especially you,
We think that people travel fast, but the true thing is that ideas travel faster.
I always think about not B2B, B2C type of communication, but
So we've always known that building across borders, whether that be a business, your own brand, your own name, has always been challenging and fun because we think that people travel fast, but the true thing is that ideas travel faster. But the identity is something that shifts every 60 miles. So, to actually prove the fact and inspire us with how building cross border connection, understanding the nuances of what is it to build something from scratch, and been in the business for almost 15 years, we have been joined by Ms. Daria Leshchenko, and she has been building Support Your App for like 15 years straight, right into building something that now has grown into a beautiful ecosystem operating across 8 hubs. People now have known more than 60 plus languages, and she started with a one person team, and now it's 2,000 plus with entire ecosystem supporting to 50 plus tech brands. And I think it's such a pleasure to know someone who has actually put the hard work and now has life in different parts of the world. So totally a global citizen. It's such a pleasure to meet you, Daria, today.
thank you so much for your introduction. Nice to meet you too, and happy to be the part of this podcast today.
That's amazing. And to actually kickstart this entire conversation, I would love to know, like you mentioned, you were in NCR and you went through the entire education curve. What actually propelled you to build Support Your App since the beginning? Like, did you feel I should be doing internships or doing something else, but you straight away went into entrepreneurship? So, what was the story behind that?
I will really love sharing this story because I think it's very unusual. I was a student, so I didn't think about building my own company or, going to get some education and then build and become basically an entrepreneur. However, I do remember I had a summer. Um, uh, it's kind of was internship, but more like a work and travel program in the US. And I was working as a waitress, and I was working in Dunkin Donuts in Maryland. And that summer was great. I do remember how I back to my hometown, and I found a company where people were talking in English. And I was like, okay, so after my summer where I already practiced my English, that would be great to continue practicing my English, maybe meeting new people all over the world. So I have started working as a customer support representative, answering phone calls, emails, more than 15 years ago. It was maybe 16 or 17 years ago. And it was the beginning, I would say, of how other IT startups were growing. Ventures were also growing. There were money investing in those startups. And my partner of Support Your App as of now, back 16 years ago, he was kind of my director. He came to me and said, look, we have the request of one friend of ours, a company called MacPaw. They have launched their new application called Clean My Mac for the US market, for the US clients, and they need 24/7 support services as well. Because before that, we have been doing all these kind of services, but for our internal needs. And I said, like, look, I can take this opportunity. And basically, it's how our the very first client has appeared. We didn't know like how to price this client. We didn't know how to charge it. We didn't know like basically how it works.
Right.
We just had a just team of 5 people working 24/7 and doing all these kind of things for our needs. So when I realized, okay, so there is a real client, there is a potential and need. Maybe we can do kind of a spin-off project. And that's how we very like smoothly make a transition into a separated department, a separated company that we know everyone that right now this company called Support Your App. And we have started looking for new clients, especially within Mac developers. And it's how everything has started. And as of now, Support Your App, yeah, we still work with Mac developers, but we also have other IT companies within our clients list. We have e-commerce projects, we have SaaS, we have telecoms, we have Internet of Things, we have big brands all over the world, and we, as you mentioned, we have right now our people also globally. So we have our people in Latin countries like Argentina, Brazil, Colombia. We have our people in South Africa, in Northern Africa, in Eastern Europe. So I see right now how basically from very like first request of our friend, we became very international company with its challenges, with its successes, and with its journey.
I think that's really beautiful to actually hear about this, is because, as you mentioned, you were intoning, and that's when it clicked that since your company is taking care and it's like 24 by 7, there's an outsourced team that is there 24 by 7 for its people. Why not? You should start something and be there for people. And one thing I would love to understand, when you thought that I should be moving out and have my own base of clients or people who know me and have my own clientele, how did it start happening? I mean, the most difficult thing in the business space is for someone to trust you and then put money into it. And since you were straight out
Right.
of college, a student with, of course, a great college name behind your back, backing you, how did you convince people? What was your pitch or conversation or negotiation with them?
Well, the college name and everything was later because I already attended INSEAD a couple of years ago. I also went to a Harvard Kennedy school. So I already, like, when I already, let's say, when the company already has established and we already had a number of clients, well-known companies within our profile, I've started like like traveling more for my own purposes,
Right.
for learning more, for studies, for exploring the world, because I already have this opportunity, not just as a student, but as a businesswoman.
Yeah.
So in the very beginning, it was very interesting because I do remember all my phone calls because, of course, no Google Meets, no Zoom Meets. Back 50 years ago, I had some list of potential clients from potential industries. Some of our friends gave or referred those people, and I was just making phone calls, as well as we had Skype calls. Also, I do remember Skype calls and all my first demonstration, discovery calls of our services. Yeah, started from Skype calls and just a ordinary VoIP phone calls. And your question is very to the point because in the very beginning, I would say the conversion rate,
Yeah.
number of phone calls to converted number of one clients
Yeah.
was very, very low because I didn't have enough experience my own. We didn't have enough case studies or reputation, and it just like it was the very beginning of its story. However, persistence also right moment, because as I mentioned, it was a boom of startups.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
and we like understood that just need to like knock in the door and probably someone will open up. So yeah, I was very persistent. I was trying to convince those first clients to become
Yeah.
our clients with the
Right.
very best price.
Of
And of
course.
course, when I already won some clients, try to work on our great relationship, and then I try to ask them to share their um, experience, feedback, create kind of case studies, and again, brick by brick, step by step, it helped us to build a big, let's say, company with a strong reputation. So then other companies, when right now they see support rep, they already know, okay, we have everything in place. There are many clients, and it really already works for us. But in the beginning, it's just persistence.
I think how you mentioned is the game of volume as well. Like you had to find those people and reach out to them and take those different calls and convince them that, hey, this is something that we are doing, and explain that how this is going to help you, and then put it out there. So when it comes to understanding the entire customer support ecosystem, and like, of course, accent is a problem, language is a problem. Like where I come from, the Indian origin, we it's such a diverse country. Like if you take me to a southern part of the country, I cannot talk to people in the regional language. I'll be like, I know these two languages, English being like something that each one of us knows, so no regional languages. And it's how it is. And if I even put efforts to learn any language, like I've been learning Spanish for some time, it takes time with that right accent. And then I figured out that, oh, people in Spain talk differently, like they have a different accent. Colombians have different, Brazilians have different. Anyone who comes from Portugal and is trying to learn Spanish over there, they have a different accent. And like it changes a lot, of course. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's not the same. They're like, yeah, it changes. So how did you navigate that, like that problem? Because it on call, if you're speaking with someone and helping them with their problems, if they do not understand you, or if they cannot clearly interpret because of the punctuation, or the mouth movements and accent issues, it can cause blunders. So how did you navigate this issue of this particular area?
First of all, we were trying to hire people from different locations because, as you mentioned, in different locations, there are different accents or different pronunciations. And we were like trying to, first of all, looking for those locations from emerging countries
Yeah.
that are would be not so expensive for our clients because of course we can go to the UK but in the UK then it doesn't make sense for our business, right? Because otherwise the compensation for support agents in the UK would be too high. So we started like checking, trying, hiring people from very different locations. Of course, we had assessments of their languages, of their accents, where we're like building our own internal training for them. So also kind of helping up with the basic knowledge, but as well with the basic information because anyway, first of all, our people they should know the product. It's the core. Of course, then we have the core of phrases that we always use when it comes to customer support. And of course, if we have people in our pipeline with the B1, B2 level, I don't think that we will hire them for phone calls. In this case, we hire people with the C1, C2 level of language. And as well as when we have started adding our clients and their requirements, where
Yeah.
hiring people with this level of language, but also with other languages, we have started also hiring bilinguals or people, again, from other regions who know that particular language. Also, apart from phone calls, because phone calls, it's about 30% of all requests of our clients.
Right.
In the very beginning, we had the very big part also the email communication channel.
Yeah.
However, right now, everything has dramatically changed, and we have live chats as a primary channel of communication. And for live chats, of course, you don't have this accent right now, but you should have grammar, right? Instead,
Right.
and also very, like ability to think very like quick find and creative finding solutions, because you need to type very fast, as well as you may be using some macros, some AI right now widgets to just to assist our people in order to accelerate and increase the efficiency of how to communicate via live chats. And of course, right now there are already AI enhancement tools, especially for accent reductions as well. I can't say that we are using them, but what we are using right now, we have built our voice AI agent based on 11 Labs technology. And it's kind of combination where we already have a voice AI agent
Right.
and a human to solve our clients' customers' requests.
Wow, that actually makes a lot of sense because when like you mentioned, people who are bilingual, and there are people who are like polylingual polymaths. They can speak so many languages together. Like I've seen so many communities wherein people are like they live in the states, but they can speak French. I think Finnish, German, and Portuguese as well, and they can also speak Swedish very nicely. And some people are very okay with the Dutch, like the language as well. And I'm like, how do you learn that? So they're like the basics are grammar, and then they, with time, practice with the other person, and that's how they get to learn about different things. So since that has been the case, and right now we see that you built an entire ecosystem, and now it's one of the largest in the West. However, initially, did you find like did you have to raise funds or you bootstrapped it? How was the funding space? Because you're hiring people, so you're pumping money straight away. Like you hire me, you are like, hey, this is 50K a year or like 6 months, whichever bond we signed together. But then were you like pushing in your own money to hire those people, or you had to get an investor for your ecosystem?
Now we are bootstrapped, and I think it's also a very nice thing about service businesses. Because when you have a client, you have initial money to pay compensation to people. And then you have more clients or another client, and you have, okay, you need to hire more people. So with the service business, especially if we're talking about support your app, we didn't need to raise any investments. However, I do remember some, like gaps when I do remember we lost one client and I didn't find a new one yet, but I had my entire team and I didn't know what to do because it was really a kind of gap between
Yeah.
the compensation and I didn't know how to pay. And it was in the very beginning, but I was so scary. I was afraid, okay, maybe it's the beginning of the end of this company. And we just took our own money. And I do remember I didn't pay salary for myself for some time to just to make sure that okay, we'll try to find another client, and then we will have more profit, and then everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah, we found another client, and then everything was fine, and we started growing. Like one month by month by month. Right now, we have reservations, of course, in case if something would happen. If we, let's say, would lose one client, that's totally fine for us
Right.
because we're like a big machine right now. We are signing new clients, we are like hiring new people, and we are growing, and it's amazing. But I do remember that in the very beginning, especially if you haven't, as we haven't raised any investments, it was kind of scary. But on the other hand, no big obligations, like because it was just me and my partner,
Right.
and yeah, so responsibility was on us. Of course, we really wanted to win this game and be successful, be profitable, but it was easier, much easier when you have investors, I think, who will be, like give you extra pressure in the beginning, because I do believe that for our type of business, investment would be great when you already have a decent number of clients, stability, and you need some money to scale faster.
Yeah.
Because we are not a product business. That is why we don't need just to have MVP, then money to promote it, to market it. With the service business, my perspective is just to have at least stable business, and then for it, for better price to have investment, to get some capital, and then just smart money, maybe some smart advisors, and then just accelerate the growth and scale.
I really appreciate how you've actually, moved into a fact wherein this is like that's how you started. And I think that's the beauty of service-led businesses as well. Like once you have the client growing, you take the money or you take an advance payment, and then you look out for people. And if you feel that the project that you've signed is a long-term project, you can hire. If you feel that you do not feel that you should sign them on immediately, so you can like have freelancers or outsource that based on whichever ways it fits your business. So I really appreciate that. And to my curiosity, how were you able to connect with people? Like, I think since you mentioned you've been in this multicultural space for almost 15 years. And if you're speaking with someone who comes from Asia, who is from Latin America, so how did you talk to them? Like, how did you breach, or not breach would be an incorrect word, but how did you actually bypass the conversation wherein they could trust you and be like, actually, I think I like her and I would like to work with her in her company, which is growing. I mean, it's not like a big name wherein you're offering immediately extremely big checks so that money brings in people, but it's you who would be bringing in people.
Yeah. So I think for me, and it doesn't matter when we are talking about this ice breaking for our people that we have,
Yeah,
our teams all over the world or clients, because we call in our company our clients and our people also clients, because for us, our people, it's internal clients. We have the same policies, we have the same uh, even I don't know, like if it's an anniversary within the company, like the person has been working with us for like 5 years, we still send the same email congratulation as we send to our external clients, which are just our clients who buy our services.
yeah,
So
right.
that is why for me, in my perspective, I always think about not B2B, B2C type of communication, but P2P, person to person.
Yeah,
And I think that is very important when we're talking about people. It just don't be very pushy, but also showing the natural interest of the person. Because when I have interviews, and I in the very beginning of my career, when I become a managing partner, I was as a customer support representative myself. I was doing business development, I was doing HR, I was doing marketing, I was doing finance, I was doing everything. So
everything.
I really, yeah, it's like CEO, it's the chief of everything, right? So that is why I loved conducting interviews, and I loved talking to people. And I always had this, I think, very deep interest of their not just professional life, but personal life, hobbies, if what they do if they have some free time, books if they read some, or games if they play some, and all these kind of things. I think even more important than just a resume with a previous experience. Also, it's just like off top, if I really want to have kind of icebreaker, I always asked why this person has the name, this its name. For instance, why your parents give you the name Yukta? If there is some story behind it, and it's kind of ice breaking because it's very interesting, and you already know something more. And I think it's very connecting. And I do
Yeah.
remember, like all my hour meetings, everything. I was like, okay, so my name is Daria. Do you want to hear my story? Why my parents gave me this name? And then I started talking about me, about my story, and asking about another person story as well.
Wow. And like, I think that's one of the great icebreakers, is because someone would not feel difficult because they are not sharing a very personal story. So it doesn't feel
Yeah.
like, hey, why are you asking this question to me? Instead, with that conversation, you can slowly build onto that, and then you don't need to think about which culture do they come from. Are you breaking any norms, or like are you trying?
Yes.
I think something that in this conversation you might feel disrespectful, but I might feel I think that that was she being sarcastic or something like that. So we eliminate all these negative emotions altogether, and we start on a very neutral note. And from
Yeah.
that, the other person opens up. Is because I think even customer executive are so much about communication. Like I have been facing a problem with a very big company, and you can like it's into like competing Amazon in terms of fashion and beauty. So I email them, I call them, and they don't respond. And I'm like, I'm call. It's been 32 days. I'm calling this number. You
Wow.
do not give me a solution. You tell me that this is gonna happen. Your logistics has problem. It's your thing. It's not on me. It's not that as a customer I delayed a process. I just want to return because I did not like it, and I am traveling. I think no customer help was supported. All I got was, hi, we are escalating, we are doing this, we are doing that. And now, if you look at it from X, like this country, this brand, it looks so bad on that country or that brand that they're not able to help the people. And now, if for example, if I'm a big influencer, I can just go out and, like make a post about it and be like, hey, there's no help out there, and maybe tag a few common big people in the industry. Because I think fashion and beauty lifestyle runs a lot on how influencers talk about the product and the company. Now, if I have good influencers, suddenly it becomes a bad PR for the company. So I think that's when, and just because my experience with the customer executive and their entire team is bad, the entire company has to face a backlash because of that. So how do you navigate that? How do you train people? Like my experience was, and it's still bad. I'm still fighting that battle. I'm like, it's what, like $40, but it's something that I don't have. I can't even give that to someone, so you need to take it back from me. But it's not happening, and they're like, it's whatever this that. I'm like, you tell me the process, I will comply to it, but you tell me what needs to be done. Or tell me the number that I need to contact on. So I mean, I might sound so frustrated, and with this 10 times more frustration, I go on that customer executive call and be like, do you understand, this is the 30th call I'm making to your organization.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because I think it's just psychology in terms of when you're frustrated, you feel this emotion right here, right away. You start to fight and struggling with this, and you're talking about it. That is why having quality decent customer support teams within, whether it's e-commerce products, whether it's any like company that a company has a client, needs to have a customer support representative or a customer support team. And we are not talking about all possible channel of communication, at least one, but this one should be working, right? So you can reach out. All the promises should be, just not over promising. But if you would be said that, okay, someone will contact you within 24 hours, it means that someone should contact you within 24 hours or even earlier.
Yeah.
And why I'm talking about that is kind of psychology, because when you are happy with the project, with the service, with the product, with the good, you would never go to the, not like not never, but one time out of, I don't know, 100, you will go somewhere and share your experience
Yeah.
that, okay, it was good, and you're happy. That is why companies should think also about how to build even not just good customer support, but excellent, I don't know, magnifique customer support teams to give clients something more, even more than they probably have asked before. That is why they will be more willing to become, the kind of advocates of the brands, voice of the brands. And then again, if it's a smart entrepreneurs, if it's a smart executives, they understand that eventually they would need to invest less in marketing to acquire new clients if they have very strong, good brand with a strong customer support teams. Because again, as we already talked, this experience, it's very important, It's okay to make some not problems, but to make some mistakes. It's okay that sometimes something could be, I don't know, broken, or something could
Yeah.
happen, because there are also third-party vendors like delivery companies. But when you, as a company, can accept this situation,
Right.
or say sorry, sincerely apologize, and solve the situation, then the customer become even, more satisfied with the touching with this brand, with this company, than just, even not having this problem, because then customer knows that this company can solve the situation. And I noticed so many situations when really companies they can be very, very good in what they're doing in terms of customer support, and people love it. They call it lovable, right? In terms of how great the brands they build, they want to come to these brands, etc. And then they have another criteria, another kind of type of companies. They have very just ordinary kind of customer support representatives, just close this need,
Yeah.
and they don't like just doing this kind of job, and that's it. And then the last one is just the companies who ignore importance of building strong customer support
Yeah.
teams. Then they, I think, suffering in the end with all the negative feedback, and like maybe bad reviews, and losing money. So I think building right customer support experience, customer support teams, it's very important for every business that basically has at least one customer.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
to actually understand different aspects. Some people do a great job, and I think in this field, because this is a front-facing role. I mean, with Apple, for example, if you have a question, you can directly reach out via chat, and it's not that the chat's hidden. Like now, they have like you need to like dig deep to like find that chat option. But once you have it, the person's gonna stay on that. Chat, and they're going to take your number so that you resolve that problem. Like so many times I've faced problem with my Mac or my iPhone, and like different things, and I'm just like getting in touch with them that hey, Google's not helping. Chat, and in terms of AI, like you have Chat GPT, you have Gemini, Perplexity, so many tools. I still want to go to their customer support team and be like, hey,
the real
help me.
person.
Yeah, I'm not understanding how to work this out, help me out. And they stay on the call, like they ensure that it took me an hour, I remember, with the Mac, like I wasn't able to upgrade, and I had to factory reset it. That representative was on call with me for almost an hour and a half. And he did not cut the call. He didn't say that, hey, it's gonna take 30 minutes. I'll drop the call. I said, I'm on call. It's fine. Once it's done, like we can, like give each other plugins after 15 minutes to know we are on call. But I'll be there on call with you. What are you seeing on screen? Is there a problem? And after 1.5 hour, finally it was done, and I was like, damn, that's the kind of support a customer wants to feel with the product, specifically when it comes to technology. And you've been working in the tech space, like you've been providing your services to people in tech, and a lot of people are non-techie. So how do you train them? Like how do you build that leadership bridge, or that connection bridge between tech and the front of the business with
Mhm.
this?
So there are also different types of support. There is level one, level two, and level three. So the most technical one is level three.
Yeah.
Sometimes, apart from language, our people, our support agents, they should know also some technical stuff, like
Hmm.
maybe yeah, HTML or MySQL, etc. Because it was also kind of requirements of our clients.
Right.
If there is product that is basically not very technical one, and does not require to have a technical background, but let's say moderate in terms of technical knowledge, then we also
Right.
have our internal training systems. And when I talk about training,
Hmm.
we have our very beautiful, strong, I would say, self-made. learning and development department where
Yeah.
we have different trainings for people.
Right.
Some of our trainings, even some of our clients, they like to get because they see how, our people can communicate, what kind of level of empathy they have, or how they understand the different types of clients, how they work with clients' objectives. And we know how to learn all these things and we automate the process. So basically, we use LMS system
Yeah.
for training purposes. Right now, we even have the training. The training materials are divided. Let's say for different videos for 10 minutes, because as we know already, when you have like heavy videos like 1 hour, etc., it's you know not everyone wants to learn 1 hour video, etc. But we have the very micro learning and lessons, and then we have our own assessment process. We have our trainer. We also have our webinars, and the webinars itself. We also conduct gathering all our people all over the world, and they discuss different topics. Also about some cultural specifications, maybe the cuisine, or what the let's say in what country they prefer to do when it comes to some celebrations, and so on, so on. So it's all about our learning development team, creating knowledge, creating courses,
Right.
creating this training materials. So that is
Yeah.
why when it comes to our newbies, they are welcome to onboard to our learning development team. And we also recently launched our course with together with the Udemy on 101 lessons how to build a perfect customer support teams.
Wow, I really
Yeah.
appreciate the fact because I mean it's so important to have like people know about it and you're giving it as a resource to people who want to kickstart this journey and get into the ecosystem and start this. So, like since you've mentioned about courses and giving back to the community, we have a segment which we call as 90 seconds to teach me something. So right now, if I give you 90 seconds and you can take 20 seconds to think, what is something that you would like to teach?
I like to teach that the person, especially you will have your great potential in what you are doing. Your journey, it's your journey. Everything that you what happens in your life, I think it happens with a purpose. I really love the quote, "Follow the flow." And basically, when it comes to my top managers, I always work with them on perception, their entire situation where they are, and thinking about, okay, how you can change it, because I believe that everything in our hands, in your hands particular. So if there is something that you don't like, it's totally up to you. It's your responsibility, and you are responsible to change it. And I'll always dig into understanding how you can help yourself, even in your personal life. And I'm pretty sure that will be boosting you in your professional life. Because again, personal life, professional life tied very, very, very tight basically. And when you feel yourself happy and full in your personal life, you will be just like giving this energy to your co-workers, to your people at work as well. So it will be something in this direction.
And it's wonderful to hear this aspect is because sometimes we miss out on and I thank you for sharing this because we get into that mindset that we need to do things and sometimes we miss on like the relation between how sometimes your personal life is affecting your professional space or your professional life is affecting your personal life and you do not understand because it becomes so mixed in general. So since you come from like you've merged people and operations and technology. Like if I look at a Venn diagram, so you've combined these three, and then that's a sweet spot of even like in personal life, because people is all that builds the personal life about in your life. So since you've combined and you live at the center of the intersection of the Venn diagram, so what has changed? I mean, over these years, or do you think that a lot of personal happenings that happened in your life changed a lot of business decisions for you?
Yeah, very, very good question. And many things have changed and are still changing. And I think our life it's about changing. Whether there are other people changing, I know, macroeconomic situation, or you're changing yourself. By developing yourself or degrading, let's say yourself as well. And my decisions, they're also how I make decisions, basically the way how I make decisions, they've been changed as well, because I'm a very emotional person. And sometimes emotions, it's great when they're ecological and when you know how to address them in a proper way. And from time to time, and right now already within these 15 years, I've changed, and how I make decision shape. It's not more so emotional anymore. It's based on also a lot of on a rational part and facts, and not just things that I like or I don't like. That is why basically when you ask me what I would teach you, I said about responsibility, because I'm pretty sure, I believe that if there is something in your life that you don't like, it's just totally your or another person responsibility, because people just like to blame others if there is something wrong, if there is something they don't like, and just don't want to take responsibility to say, okay, if I don't like it, I need to change my perspective, the situation, how I act, what I do. So that is why when it comes to decisions as well, I didn't know how to make right decisions, but I always take responsibility to for my decisions. And if let's say time will show that my decisions were, let's say, not even not right or not wrong, it's more about whether they will fit my business goals or my personal goals, then I will see just again through time, and I will make already some information. I already make some how do you call it? Um, Not just the lessons, but I will realize whether those decisions will work for our business or for my own perspective or not. But again, that would be my decisions. And I mean, like, I really like the philosophy of changing everything, and I really like the fact that everything is changing, and I'm happy to have this opportunity because every day in the morning when I wake up, I know that basically this day I can create for myself. If I don't like something, I can change it, and it's totally fine. So yeah,
I really am thinking, and like I have so many thoughts in my mind as well, as because you've connected the emotional side and you've connected the business side into like an entire interconnected space. Since so many things, keeps going on in our day, and I think it's very easy to quit business. Like you would feel that I don't want to run this anymore, and like just get done with it. Or maybe sometimes your business partner, you would give that person extra responsibility that, hey, take care of this, take care of that, I just don't want to do this. And amidst all of that, navigating those complex challenges and still knowing that this is something that you want to do is very important, which also brings us to like a segment that we do. It's called 7 questions to fame. And whenever you're ready, I'll be giving these prompting 7 questions along your way, which are going to be in a rapid fire quick format. So let me know
sure,
once you're ready.
I'm ready.
Perfect. So what has been one key learning that has kept you consistent over 15 years building one major business?
So. the learning is that everything will pass, good and bad. I think it's the Queen Solomon said. So yeah, everything will pass. So I think it comes to everything, to people, to clients, to processes within the company. So you don't need to be super happy sometimes when everything is fine, and you don't need to be very disappointed if something, not ideally works.
That is indeed a food for thought, that everything flows and it does change. So thank you for sharing that. The next question goes like, what has been one thing that uh, you were embarrassed about and now you laugh about it?
I already mentioned this. It's maybe how emotion person I am, and um, hmm, there are many different stories behind it. But the fact is that yes, I was very emotion, and right now I can control emotion and can address it, as I mentioned, in a proper way.
What has been like, if we always look out for competition and companies and things like that. So what, like, which companies are there in the market that you feel they claim that they have good services but they don't, and you know it?
Hmm. Well, I don't want to name any company, but I would say that the big companies, uh, you like the companies that everyone uses every day, usually they don't have very good customer support teams because they have very good, very big flows of customer support requests. And instead of adding people as a business decision, probably they try to automate it or adding AI layers, etc. That is why they have, let's say, not personal customer support phase, but more like automated. That is why the experience itself is not very good, and that there are many of them. Especially you mentioned Apple today, and I'm happy to hear
Yeah.
that already fixed it. But there are still like like some social media that you're using every
Yeah,
day, etc. There are many of them.
I appreciate. I mean, you're like I don't want to name them, but yeah, there are many. Like you look at it, you would know it. So that's a fun way of actually dealing with that. The next question goes like, since you work with so many different cultures and like different time zones. So if you had to give me like a roadmap as to like, this is how you navigate across time zones and this is how you deal with multicultural teams. So what would be that precise or short roadmap to solve that problem, which a lot of people face, I think.
Yeah, when it comes to time zones and different countries, I think that especially if there are, let's say, if the company has clients from the US, it will be great to have teams from Latin countries because then you have almost the same time zone. If you have clients from Europe, then it would be great to have a team from, let's say, from Africa, from South Africa. Again, it's gonna be the same time zone. If you have clients from, I don't know, Asia, and you may have also teams from the Philippines or other Asian countries. So you can just combine, these clients versus teams combinations, and then you wouldn't feel like, okay, someone should work at night, someone should work during the daytime, because right now we have these hybrid teams where everyone has day shifts, almost everyone has day shifts when they work. Of course, we have teams with the night shifts as well. And in the very beginning, we had many teams. We were working 24/7 with the shifts and working at nights. But right now, it's easy to just to hire based on the time zones, and there are great matches, I think.
If you had to choose between two, I would say two out of these five things, what would you choose? Money, fame, impact, diversity, and leadership.
Oh, it's gonna be impact and leadership.
Wow. And that
Because
way, sorry.
it will give I'm pretty sure that okay, impact, when you have impact, then you probably will have fame as well. And with the leadership you may have diversity. If you have the leadership and fame, you will have money.
Oh yeah. Actually, if you think about it that way, yeah, that makes sense. So you actually are attracting money and other things in your life. So it's very smart of you. And so we are left with two questions. This one is: what are the top three books that you recommend anyone because those three books changed your life or changed the way you lead your personal life or the way you do business?
Yeah. So the first book will be The Myth of Motivation. It's more about what is more important, motivation or discipline. You know, it's always the fight between it. The second one will be Tough Management. I think it was the very first book for me as a business leader because uh, it, right now it's kind of outdated, but it's still, I think there are very relevant lessons. And also, I would think that some I like not just business books, but I also like sometimes poems, sometimes just fiction. But when it comes to my recommendation, maybe as a author, I would recommend to read more classic ones like Remark, for instance, The Night in Lisbon. Just I like this kind of literature as well.
Thank you for sharing them. I think I would definitely add the last two to my collection and go through them and maybe send that, how did things change since you've recommended that. And the last question would be: what has been, if you had to like compress the decades into days, what would be a key learning for you that you would like fellow founders to know about, specifically if they want to build a business that is truly global and have different people from different countries involved in that business?
hmm So maybe the first principle will be idea matters. What you do really also matters. The mission, vision. The second one, that fail fast. If something doesn't work, just like try another one. Uh, Test different hypotheses, not just try failing and then repeat the same fail and then no, fail fast. The third one, that I think it's all about people, because for me, my team, it's kind of my treasure. At the same time, it's sometimes my heartbroker. And I really, I always say that my team motivates me, but sometimes I really, like I really demotivate when I still working with my team. So it's like both sides. That is why when it comes to people, you always should hire people taking time, talking a lot, talking about how you probably would end cooperation. But when you would like to say goodbye to the person, you should do it very fast. And also, team, it's many things about people, about teams. The team and people, it's I think it's also core of the company and the core of the business. And people should also share the same values and principles. Um, maybe they should have the same kind of vibe and um, I don't know, like atmosphere, be on the same page with you, because building something alone it's impossible, but building together is much easier. So that is why having right people, it's also very very important. How to find them? It's very difficult, but having them, it's essential. And maybe the last one is if the person has a possibility to find a kind of a mentor or a role model, or maybe different role models, and combine one role model, it would be very, very good. Because I remember 15 years ago, unfortunately, I didn't have one, and it's not very good. Right now, it's easier. You already have many successful women. You also have women who can combine motherhood and their business, hobby, and I don't know, personal life, or choose whatever they want to do. And it's great to have the role models or mentors who will guide you, who will help you. And I think it's also very important.
I love how precise you were, and it's like years of dedication and work that you have put into learning so much, iterating, experimenting, letting go of people, and accepting people in your life. It has been a journey, and I love how you could, present a roadmap. And it's been a great time talking. And this is the segment which becomes the last segment, which we call the deep dive. So anything that you felt is something that you would like to touch upon, and you feel that this is very important, whether that be something that's on the personal side of anyone's life or your life or the professional side, but you feel that this is something that you would like to address in a way we should be addressing. What would that be?
Um, but basically, I think that you mentioned about the corporate in the beginning, and I do remember how I had times when I wanted to fire myself. So I think that it's very
Yeah.
important to do what you love, what you want to do, what really fuels you with energy, and do not have this kind of compromise because life is short. And if you don't like something that you don't do, that you do, don't do it. If you don't like things with whom you are doing, just don't do it. Just choose yourself, and then I'm pretty sure that everything will be great.
I really appreciate this because because when you think about it, it's so heartfelt and it's so personal, because sometimes you feel that you need to quit and leave and start something else or just not do something. And over the time, even like I still remember, I had this thought, and a lot of people, like mentors, also mentioned that the only thing that you can put in is consistency, like showing up. You might not be an expert, and becoming an expert would take you years to something. But that does
Yeah.
not mean that you stop being consistent or you stop showing up. It's because every day, if you are in bed or you are staying in bed, is one day that's going out of your life, and you know that you could have done something wonderful, and you are choosing to withdraw or deprive the world out of
Yeah.
that wonder that you could create. And I was like, wow, that's exactly what
Mhm.
we talk about, being a drop in the ocean. So I'm so glad you could touch upon this topic, and it has been a great conversation with you, and would love to know if someone would want to get in touch with you, how could they get in touch with you for like mentorship or making their skill in their own CX teams. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, the best way is just to hit me a message on LinkedIn. I'm a very active person on LinkedIn. So you will find and type Daria Leshchenko, you will find me. Yeah, I'm checking my connection almost every day. So yeah, I'll be happy to be in contact with anyone who will need mentorship or will need maybe an introduction to other people, or just to set up a customer support department with AI layers or human customer support.
Wow, thank you so much, Daria, for this conversation. And I've definitely learned a lot, and I hope this is one of the conversations that stays with a lot of founders to scale or grow their business and stay human in the end, which is so important. So I really appreciate you taking this time out and building this conversation.
Thank you so much for your questions. They were very to the point, very philosophical, very interesting in terms of, I always, when I have this kind of conversation, I like to reflect, I like to think, okay, uh, how my perspective has changed. Because even if I already received this question, let's say 5 years ago, and one question is right now or similar to this one, my answer is completely different because I'm a different person already.
Wow. And that I think that's what evolving is all about, like evolving, getting into better people. So thank you so much for this. It really means a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you.